I don't know if anyone here remembers Healthy Harold, but my goodness, he was my favourite. My whole class's favourite, actually. Every time that we heard that he was coming, a buzz of excitement filled the classroom. Maybe you remember the loom band craze. In primary school, we had a competition to see which class could make the most loom bands. My class didn't win, despite my desperate attempts at weaving loom bands. But the class that won was so proud. The prize that they got, they decided on a defibrillator for the school. Our head of primary was getting older, you see. All these years later, I still remember the excitement, the competition. Despite the time that has gone by, I would go see Harold in a heartbeat if he came to QUT. We all know that the future is dependent on future generations. We also know that the threat of biosecurity emergencies are only becoming more and more prevalent with our connectivity to the world, not to mention the changing environmental landscape due to climate change. As such, it is only logical that we start to tackle this issue by training up the younger generation. And we believe that this can be done in a way that it generates excitement and genuine interest in our environment.
The solution to this we have is an app that will enable us to engage the general public into biosecurity. It'll be introduced to grades 4 to 6, and it'll help foster the young generation into biodiversity of Australia and biosecurity. And so first, we'll start by looking at the problem we face. The problem we face is that there's not enough people reporting or investigating the biosecurity threats, and when there's not enough data in biosecurity with the governments and parties, we cannot map out places, and we cannot look to the threats and solve the problems. So if you look at the picture right there, that's the My Pest Guide app from West Australia. That's the number of reports that has come this year from January up till yesterday, and you can see there's a lot of reports in Perth, but there's not a lot across the whole country. So we have established a persona. Her name is Sally, and she's a grade 5 student. She's very interested in biodiversity, but she doesn't know much about it, but she's really interested as her teachers took her out to the field and made her take photos. And she even got 75 points because she identified a myrtle rust in a leaf. And she's excited to go to her grandparents' place and take more photos and gain more points. And as years go on, she grows up, and there is a threat of an insect, and there are people like Sally that are ready to go out and sample or inform the biosecurity officers to go and take samples. So we propose a 3-stage solution to implement our app. We start with implementing it in schools and through volunteers or through putting it in the curriculum, and teachers will be teaching it. And our second step is implementing the app and developing the app. And our third step is adopting the app for the elder generations, or grades 7 to 12. So this is our app, and our app is similar to Pokemon Go, where there are interest points around everywhere. They'll make people go out and go to points to take photos, and it'll help organizations get information and map out biosecurity threats. So it'll start by taking a picture, which will have a machine learning aspect to it, which will tell you which insect or plant you have recognized, and then you have all the information of the species and the diseases and the cultural significance with the indigenous communities. And then after you have taken the photo, you get a badge, and you also get points depending on if it's a common plant, you get 5 points. If it's an uncommon plant, you get 10 points, and so on. And if it's a biosecurity threat, it'll be sent to the offices, and then they can come and take samples.
Of course, we believe not only in providing this information to environmental organisations, but empowering and educating the general public. Along with the information panel that will pop up after they've taken a photo, this will start in the classroom. Dr. McLean's research states that grade 5 is the prime time to encourage children to start getting involved in social and environmental issues. At this age, while they are still largely concrete learners, they do start to think in more abstract ways and about more abstract concepts. Additionally, both their ability to be influenced by their teachers and to influence other adults will provide the perfect opportunity for biosecurity to become more talked about. Using similar framework to teach the teacher, which was implemented in Victoria, teachers will be used to implement change. Firstly, biosecurity will be added to the curriculum and will be complemented by BioFi to increase the attractiveness of this topic outside of school. So, teachers will be equipped with the knowledge and the students from year 4 to 6 will learn from them. BioFi will be used firstly inside the classroom, such as when students create community gardens, like grow plants and raise insects. The attractiveness of BioFi will be furthered as teachers take their students outside of the classroom to explore and find as many species as they can. In this, social norms are established as students do not want to miss out on the fun that their classmates are involved in. The aim is then that students will include their families, both parents and siblings, in their adventure, creating a love for biosecurity that transcends generations. Of course, while it is still a large focus, the purpose of BioFi is not just to educate players, but to provide valuable data to environmental bodies about the trends in the environment and, more importantly, potential threats of diseases to plants. As players will be encouraged to take multiple photos of the plant, that it does increase the opportunity for more diseases to be picked up. Each photo will also have a location associated with it so that players can see where they have previously explored and that authorities can track how the landscape has changed over time. However, of course, the greater purpose of this location tracking is to provide crucial data to the government and environmental bodies regarding biosecurity risks. Together with this large library of data, we will be able to more effectively control biosecurity risks while engaging the general public.
So we'll be having regular notifications to remind players of interest points, which will give them a commitment device nudge so that they come back to the app and use it more often. But this is our third stage where we want the elder grades of 7 to 12 to have more information in the app. So it's a transition phase where they'll have more information. And secondly, they'll have monetary incentives like 10 cents per 100 points, or they'll have shop vouchers. And the third point will be they'll be introduced to sampling. They could be send sampling kits, or they'll send information to biosecurity officers to take samples. Lastly, our app framework follows the EAST framework. It's easy because it's easy to use the app and everyone has access to Play Store and App Store and they can download the apps. Secondly, it's attractive because it's a gamified app. It attracts people to go out and have fun. And that gives them a reward and incentive nudge because they have badges and points to collect. And also they have the social part of it is they get to engage with their community because there's teachers getting involved, parents getting involved, and also the students getting involved. And also that gives them a loss aversion nudge when they see other fellow students using it and they're not using it. And finally, we have the timing. 4 to 6 is like the perfect time where kids are still interested in doing activities. So that's the perfect time for them to engage in this app.
BioFi is not just a biosecurity tool. It is a game that transcends generations and builds a community of individuals driven by a passion to protect our environment. The impacts of this game will far exceed just biosecurity threats, but will provide an avenue for all Australians to protect our land. Thank you.
Thank you.